We're here at the 2009 Texas Sommelier Conference, and this is the grand tasting at the end of the event. And we're talking to Christof Syre, Executive Chef of the Four Seasons in Las Colinas. And Christof, maybe you could tell us the food you prepared for this grand tasting today. Perhaps you could take us around the table and show us it.
I have a risotto here with oven-dried peaches. I have Texas peaches, and I cut them into segments and then dried them in the oven and roasted them up a little bit, tossed it in the risotto, and added some homemade duck sausages to it and chopped the whole thing off with some pistachio nuts. I wasn't sure what wines to use tonight, so I think that would go with most of the white wines.
I must say that the peaches in the risotto was an unusual addition, but it really worked. They were little islands of sweetness.
Yes.
In the risotto.
And the duck sausage had a little spice to it too, so I think the combination was great. You want to come along here?
Certainly. Take us around.
On this tray here, I have Texas pecan and raisin crostinis topped with blue cheese. I mix the blue cheese with a little bit of cream cheese, so it's not too sharp, not too spicy. And the figs on top are cooked in a balsamic red wine and sugar reduction. And then I top that on the blue cheese. Very nice, goes great with the red wines, most of the red wines. And then in the glass I have a shooter of ceviche, different seafood. I use salmon, scallop, snapper, and also sea bass, and I marinated in chili and tomatoes and several peppers and onions.
That went very well with the Sauvignon Blancs we had tonight.
Exactly. This is quite unusual too.
This is very unusual. I love this.
I have a white onion cream soup. It's a change of a French onion soup. I added cream into it. I blended it completely, and then I added at the end a little bit of champagne in it, and I topped it off with a Pommery mustard, a grain mustard, with cream and some chives. Yet I didn't add too much cream in it. It's very light, very flavorful and powerful. So it's good for a light red wine, also for white wine, very decent.
Yeah, the combination there was very carefully done, because I had some of that and you put just enough mustard in to provide a mustard taste. But with the wine, it wasn't too much that the taste of the wine was overwhelmed.
You know, when you shred off the onions, they have a certain sweetness to it, and the mustard, the vinegar from the mustard, balance it quite well out.
Yes, go ahead.
Now on top I have a Gouda, which is from Texas actually, Sand Creek Farm.
Marvelous.
Shropshire
Blue
cheese, correct. From England, you should know that.
That's wonderful. Great with wine, because although it's a blue cheese, it's fairly creamy. It's not too sharp.
Yeah, correct. I appreciate that too. This is the Morbier. No, sorry, my correction. This is the Bosque Blue.
Yes, Bosque Blue.
Bosque Blue.
From Texas.
Yes.
Wonderful. There's the Morbier.
That's the Morbier.
With a layer
layers, different layers. The morning cow's milk is on the bottom, and the evening cow's milk is on the top, and a layer of blue cheese in the center. It's quite interesting. Yes.
Very wine-friendly cheese.
And then the cheddar
at the top.
Cheddar on top. Sega Blue, just another addition.
Wonderful.
And these are Reubens, not Reuben sandwiches, but Reuben tartlets, where they have the same ingredient like a Reuben sandwich.
So this is actually
sauerkraut and the oh my God, I remember.
All
the ingredients from a regular Reuben sandwich.
The meat and the sauerkraut.
Yes.
That Reuben guy was busy.
Yeah.
And then this round here, I just had this, your salmon. Tell us about this. That was wonderful.
This is wild salmon, Atlantic salmon. What I did is I took just one side of the fillet and the belly parts. Out of the belly parts, I created a mousse and added the mousse around it to to stick the crab meat on top of it, and I covered it all in a cabbage sort of layer to keep the moisture inside. Then let it rest overnight, make sure it's nice and dry, and then I put the puff pastry around, so the puff pastry doesn't get soggy at any time, which is really convenient. When you cut through it, I make sure that the temperature in the core is just enough to keep the salmon medium rare and juicy. I serve that with the white wine sauce and some roasted fingerling potatoes.
So, Evan, it was absolutely wonderful. Christof Syre, Executive Chef at the Four Seasons, thank you.
Thank you.
And look forward to seeing you when this competition is held again this time next year.
Excellent. Thank